So basically what we're going to do, we are going to do some NBA. You want to talk about some NBA? And then I'll end it with UFC predictions. All right?
All right, let's do it.
Sounds good. Are you guys going to do a new kind of makeup prediction since...
Yeah, we got it.
We have to.
You guys can hear me, right? I'm good?
Yeah, you're solid.
Okay.
Awesome. All
Okay.
right. You ready?
Yep. So anyway, the NBA came out with the All-NBA teams the other day, which
Pitiful.
we have pitiful, like Channon said. First team, I thought was pretty good. James Harden, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, AD.
Mhm.
Second team is when it starts to get a little off the rails. Pascal Siakam is a player who can now add All-NBA second team to his resume.
And here's the thing. He got a first team vote.
No way.
Yes,
He
he
did?
got one first team vote. Had to be a guy from Canada. But how does someone genuinely vote for him to be a first team player?
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't
I
Bradley
don't know
Beal
how
get slimmed?
What?
Didn't Bradley Beal or something? Didn't he? Wasn't he? Was he like? Did he think he was supposed to make like a first team and then didn't?
He was snubbed from the All-Star team.
Yeah,
Oh.
there are a variety of players who I think
Oh, okay.
snubbed.
I thought I saw a post or something and he was kind of pissed about.
Yeah, he was he was beefing with this one reporter named Zach Lowe because apparently Zach told him he was going to vote for him and then he didn't. But
Come on, Brad.
Wow.
the thing about all NBA teams is that they actually do sort of impact players' salaries in terms of like if you make all NBA team in either the most recent year or two of the past 3 years, you qualify for the 35% max instead of the 30% max if you're a player who's played between 7 and 9 years. So in that case, like Rudy Gobert would be an example of that, even though he had already qualified for other reasons. And by making the second team of All-NBA, it actually is a huge financial gain for Pascal Siakam and Ben Simmons, whose contracts will now be worth 28% of the NBA salary cap instead of the 25% that they would have been regardless, which is obviously due to the Derrick Rose provision. But just a little tidbit there, I guess. Channon, do you want to start doing some quick hits on some guys who you think maybe should have made it?
I have a question. So after you guys talk about it, I kind of, because some of these teams are raw. Like it's the first team and the second team. Like if they played each other, I feel like it'd be a pretty good game. Like Dame, Chris Paul, Kawhi, Pascal, and Nikola Jokic versus James Harden, Luka, Giannis, LeBron, and AD. I feel like that'd be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, it would be.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who do you think would win?
The first team.
First team, yeah.
First team, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, you got Kawhi, Pascal, and then if Dame actually like shows up,
Yeah.
Both teams are filthy.
Then again, Pascal shouldn't be on the second team. So
No, he shouldn't be on the third team if we're being honest.
dude, Russell Westbrook got third team.
that
was crazy.
I wonder what bubbled if he was on. I wonder what team he'd be on if like the bubbles like had one. He'd probably not even make a team.
No,
The crazy thing is he wasn't even that good during the regular season either.
no.
Like they had to trade Capella because Russell Westbrook was such a liability with his lack of shooting.
He just destroyed everything, and they rewarded him for it. So
Again-
do we want to talk about who we think should have been on the team or who shouldn't have been on the team?
Both, either way, whatever direction you want to take it in.
Well, the first team was tough. I think Damian Lillard should have been on the team.
Mhm.
It's hard because
On which one? First team?
first team.
Oh,
It's hard because Luka is amazing. James Harden, they're both amazing. But I think Damian Lillard deserved it more than Luka.
Whoa.
And arguably, I think James Harden. I would say either of those, really.
I would take Harden off before Luka, to be
Really?
fair.
so
I think-
say you're not a Blazer fan. Would that be the same answer?
Yeah. I think it would be. I really think it would be.
Oh, nice.
Damian
Jonah, you're
Lillard,
repping the Ducks.
he averaged 30 points per game,
Mhm.
third in scoring.
Mhm.
He was fifth in assists at 8 per game. And his player efficiency was fifth. He's a top 5 player.
Yeah.
Top 5 player in the NBA?
Yes.
This season.
Okay, yeah, this
Yes.
season. All right.
Yeah, he's
Well, then
he
I
should
guess
be
he
on the
should have made
first
the team then.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
6 50-point games, 3 60-point games, led the league in minutes played. He shoots free throws 15% better than Luka. Luka shoots 32% from 3. Dame shoots 37. I also thought it should be noted that Luka, they did finish better, but only one place better, and Portland was obviously so unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. There's zero depth in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And well, in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think it should have been Dame. Dame's on my first team.
I think that's a great case for Dame. I
want to hear you talk about him versus Harden.
Yeah, I reluctantly put Dame second just because Luka Doncic I thought was an easy first team choice just because the Mavericks had the statistically best offense in NBA history.
Yeah.
And now obviously it's not the best offense in NBA history just because like the nature of the game has changed so much. So like just the best statistical doesn't equal best overall.
Did he have the best player efficiency rating this season?
I think that honor went to Giannis this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Luka was like third, actually, wasn't he?
Yeah, he might have been second best offensive though behind Harden.
Yeah.
But yeah, 37% usage, 29 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, just crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like I said, led a successful team. Harden is when the case sort of gets a little tricky for me when it comes to Harden versus Dame. I ended up picking Harden. He scored 4 more points a game than Dame did, but on like way less efficiency. Like Dame, he was like above 40% from 3, if I'm remembering correctly, or at least very close, like 39, 40. Yeah. And Harden was more down at 36. The reason I ended up picking Harden was just sort of like it ended up just being usage and sort of the volume. Just the Houston Rockets offense is a lot more, I guess, heliocentric would be the way to put it. Is like as hard as Damian Lillard's job is on the Blazers offense, I would say Harden fills an even bigger role on Houston's offense. And then Harden's defense was actually sneakily very good this year.
That's true.
Had a defensive box plus minus of 1.4, which is by far the highest in his career. And I think it's just the second time he's been a positive defensive player. Whereas Dame, he struggled on, obviously, like Dame shouldn't be like competing his ass off on defense. Like you kind of need him to save that energy for offense. But I just thought the defense with another feather in the cap of James Harden. But I definitely see the case for Dame first team.
Yeah, it's hard because I feel like Damian Lillard was a first team player this season, but the players who were on the first team are also first team players, truthfully. So it's hard.
It's just splitting hairs with most of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I assume you had LeBron, Giannis, and Davis rounding out your starting 5.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Did Ben Simmons made third team?
Yeah.
Did he have a pretty good season?
Yeah, I thought he had a pretty good season. He was a monster on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And I think he was a 20-plus point per game scorer.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't?
He was like 16 or 17.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's lower
Only
than
could hit a 3 ball, then it would be 20.
How many assists? Probably like 7 or 8 assists a game, though.
I think it was pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't have Ben Simmons on either of my 3 teams. My other guards were obviously Lillard and Chris Paul on second team. And then I actually went Trae Young, Bradley Beal on third team. Obviously.
I thought about Bradley Beal. I chose Booker over Bradley Beal, but
yeah, that's fair too. That's fair. Booker, I thought, had a more like well-rounded season than Bradley Beal, but I just couldn't ignore like the second points per game score.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
Ben Simmons, just real quick, 16.4 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, and 8 assists.
And then 2 steals, if I remember correctly. Yeah. He had a good season, I think.
He did.
He's definitely deserving of third team, and he played on a good team too. I just think a guy who I had on my second team who didn't make it at all was Chris Middleton. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but the way the voting works is just so stupid because Chris Middleton got more votes than Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. But because his votes were divided between the guard spot and the forward spot, he didn't end up making either.
That's dumb. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Put him at the guard spot. He can play shooting guard.
Yeah.
Does he not?
Sure. I think technically he would be small forward and Wesley Matthews would be the shooting guard. But, I mean, I think it's unfair for the NBA to allow, like, some players to be eligible at multiple positions because then it kind of just spreads out their vote and, like, if anything, makes it harder.
Right. How is he ever going to make an All-NBA team like that?
Yeah, so anyway, I thought that was stupid. And Middleton's contract, I think, extends for 3 more years after this one, so it's not something that's going to affect him financially, but just from like a fairness standpoint.
Yeah, he deserves it more than Westbrook, Simmons, even I'd say Pascal.
Oh yeah, I would say so too. Is there anything else you wanted to hit on these teams, Channon?
Let me see. I need to find what. Oh, I felt like I would take Joel Embiid over Rudy Gobert.
Okay, yeah. That's funny because I actually had a third center who's neither of those guys. I had Bam Adebayo.
I thought about him too. Yeah. But I felt like I was kind of being like my judgment was being impacted by the playoffs, and I felt like that wasn't fair. So
yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Did Eric Pascal make the rookie team?
Yeah, he was all rookie first team.
Yeah, the future.
Yep. And I think what this conversation goes to show, it's been a bad year for anybody who is saying like, oh, the center position is dead and the future is just small. Nobody plays in the post. There are a lot of very good centers in the NBA right now.
Dude, Tice is not bad.
No, Tice is good.
I like it.
Yeah, there's good young centers too. Towns, obviously. DeAndre Ayton.
I think, but able to like thrive and obviously be elite, you're gonna have like not like insane guard skills, but you're gonna have to be at least somewhat reliable with the ball in your hand. Like Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, like those guys are beasts, and they can do so much on the floor.
Oh, you mean bigs that can dribble? I mean,
and
all these, except for maybe like Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, but if you're like an elite rim protector, then obviously you're gonna be a good center.
Yeah, but like Jokic, like.
But he's like so good at passing, and you can.
No, I think Jokic is a good ball handler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's so many good big men.
Player in the league right now.
A top
players.
A top 10 player.
I agree. Yeah.
Bro, can we talk about like Jamal Murray for a second? Because he could not miss.
No,
in Game 7. Every shot that he shot, even his like little floaters, I was like, money.
And they're tough shots. They're tough shots he's taking.
Yeah. He's been showing out, dude. How do you we'll probably talk about that later, though, how those series are going to play out.
Should we jump into it right now? Is there anything you'd like to finish up with for the All-NBA teams, Channon?
I think that was about it, except Devin Booker definitely deserved it over Simmons. He averaged 10 more points per game than him.
Oh, my. Whoa. Hey, guys. Sorry to cut off the action, but I just need to say this because my power ended up going out at that point in the podcast or in the Zoom call, so I had to start a completely new one. So I just wanted to put this in here to avoid any confusion. Maybe one day this will be an ad spot, but for today it is not. So I'm just doing this for a smoother transition. I do intro and kind of recap what we did in the first portion. But yeah, I just wanted to stick this in here. Thank you. Enjoy. Sorry for the interruption. I will get out of your hair. Bye-bye. So basically what happened is kind of the power went out, but we're gonna puzzle this thing together here. So basically we just got done kind of reacting to like the NBA, like first team, second team, third teams. And we pretty much kind of agree with that, right? Besides a few things like Dame, and maybe like it could be an argument for like Devin Booker instead of Ben Simmons and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we roughly agree with the first team, and then second and third team is pretty shaky.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now we're going to get into finally, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Looks like the future's pretty bleak for the Celtics, but who knows? And then the Nuggets surprise and shock the world and prove all of us wrong. Not me. I had a little bit of faith because I love Jamal Murray. I have a man crush on Jamal, but you guys lost all faith. So yeah, you guys have to do a new prediction now. I don't think a lot of people saw the Nuggets coming.
Yeah.
But here, do you want to start off, Jonah? Or
Yeah.
Jonah, why don't you just take the headlamp off and turn up your brightness?
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm confused on what the headlamp's for.
Yeah, you can just turn your brightness up.
No, I need to look at my notes.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So, I guess where I want to
You look like you're on a survival show.
Yeah, it's dope.
I guess is this going to be super bad for like the video version now?
No, who cares?
Because I guess I could turn it off and like put it right here, and I could still read. Yeah, that actually
that looks way better.
Okay.
I liked it on your head.
So, yeah. So we'll go like this. So I guess where I wanted to start was with the Lakers on offense, because I think offensively they'll be able to. Like, this sounds counterintuitive because of all the weapons that the Clippers have, but I actually think the Lakers offense will be somewhat harder to stop. And that's because I think the Clippers sort of bail the Nuggets out by using such an isolation heavy offense that involves like one or two of the offensive players. Because the Nuggets haven't had a good defense this year. They had the 15th best defense in the league for most of the season, but what they do have is a variety of good on-ball defenders. So like you've got your Gary Harris, Jeremy Grant, Torrey Craig, and those guys can all do a pretty good job of guarding guys one-on-one. But what we saw in the Utah series was that when teams start moving the ball and having more of a diversified offense and sort of get the Nuggets in rotation, that's when they can really struggle. And guys like Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, although they can hold up and guard most players in one-on-one, they're not necessarily the smartest offensive or defensive players when it comes to like making rotations and always making the right decisions consistently. And ultimately, Denver was able to obviously win that series. But I thought it took a lot of trouble for them to ultimately figure out the Jazz offense, and I don't think they would have had it not been for Gary Harris coming back. So I think you got to look at this with the Nuggets defense first. And I guess there's no better place to start than with the Lakers leading scorer, Anthony Davis.
That's the thing. He's a matchup nightmare for everyone, and I think that is not different for the Nuggets at all. I don't know who's going to stop Anthony Davis.
Correct. Yeah, because I think this opens up a whole world of problems. You heard Frank Vogel the other day during that press conference saying they'll play McGee and Howard. And while I'm sure they probably will, especially earlier in the series, I can't imagine those guys playing significant minutes. And I think if this series goes longer or we see the Nuggets having a little bit of success, I think this will definitely tilt to a lot more Anthony Davis at 5, which is what we saw the Lakers go to a lot in the Rocket series. But I think that will kind of be a struggle for the Nuggets to try and defend, just because I think Jokic will be too slow to match up with AD as the center. I think if you put AD on the block or in the high post, I think he'll probably be able to face up Jokic, get to the basket. You see AD a lot of times get opposing big men into foul trouble. Yeah. And I think that could be way worse in this case scenario, just because Jokic doesn't have the speed or the juice to necessarily stay in front of Anthony Davis.
Definitely.
So I think this is definitely a matchup where we probably see Paul Millsap start out and spend a lot of time on AD, and then maybe a few Jeremy Grant minutes as well. And possibly even Mason Plumlee if we see Denver go double bigs in the minutes where Howard and McGee are in the game. Yeah. But obviously that opens up a whole another world of issues, because if Jokic isn't guarding the Lakers center, who is he guarding? Yes, Kellan?
Could Jeremy Grant guard AD?
Yeah, he can for sure.
Because I feel like he'd be a good because he's long, tall, and athletic.
But I think also he's a good matchup for LeBron.
Boom. Yeah, that's kind of the issue. Is you kind of need to get Jeremy
that
Grant
is
on
tough.
LeBron.
Because, I mean, they have a lot of great wing defenders, but, like, Gary Harris and Torrey Craig are pretty undersized against LeBron. It's going to be a Gary Trent situation at that point.
Exactly. Yeah, and we saw Gary Trent slow LeBron down, and I think that's valuable in, like, the extent that making LeBron sort of work for it and give all that extra effort is definitely worth something. But, yeah, Gary Trent and Gary Harris by no means will be able to, like, keep LeBron out of the paint or keep LeBron from going downhill.
If you can't stop him from that, he's going to get his buckets, no doubt.
Yes, yeah, so for sure. So I think what we probably see is Jokic probably being on. Maybe you try him on AD, but I just don't really see how that's possible. Like Jokic would just foul out in a matter of minutes. So I think we probably see him on Markieff Morris, if Morris is in the game. Like there's no way he can guard Kuzma. And so if JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard aren't on the floor, I really think Markieff Morris is the only guy you can throw Jokic on.
Right.
And I just think that kind of bodes poorly for the Denver defense. And then when it comes to LeBron James, I actually think the Nuggets do have good personnel there, like Jeremy Grant. What, Kellan?
Oh.
What happened?
The thunder. You didn't hear it?
There's a bomb that dropped in Albany, Oregon. Dude, there was some big time thunder going on there. Did you just hear that? Holy moly. Jeez, that rattled my house. My goodness. Crazy stuff.
Wow. Anyways.
It scared me.
This is going to be the weirdest episode of All Gear No Game ever.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But, yeah, what do you think the series is going to go to, Jonah? Because I think the Nuggets kind of have embraced the fact that everybody's counted them out and they're just kind of playing free right now.
Yeah. And so I guess I'll get to that in a minute. I still had a couple points to hit on before I make my prediction, and I'm sure Channon probably does too. For LeBron, I actually think they have good matchups. Like I think Jeremy Grant and Torrey Craig are definitely qualified to guard LeBron. I think what will hurt the Nuggets is the fact that LeBron James is so smart offensively, and there are weak points in the Nuggets defense that he'll be able to attack. Like, for example, if Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic are on the floor and LeBron is out there too, I don't really see a scenario where LeBron doesn't run pick and roll with those guys.
Yeah.
Just basically take advantage of the weak spots in the Nuggets defense. But I think in terms of just one-on-one guys who can match up with LeBron and shut him down offensively and sort of keep him from going downhill on him in an isolation situation, I think that I think the Nuggets kind of have the horses to be able to do that. I think this will be an interesting series for Kyle Kuzma too, especially if he's on the floor at the same time as LeBron, because at that point you're kind of starting to stretch the Nuggets wing defender depth a little thin, especially when you consider that LeBron James and Kyle Kuzma are both guys who can play with the ball in their hands. So I think like Craig and Grant, you basically are the guys who you'd ideally have on Kuzma too. I bet Michael Porter Jr. will probably spend a lot of time on Kuzma just because they'll have to keep MPJ in the game for offense. And so therefore I bet he'll be guarding Kuzma just because they play the same position. And I think...
Sorry, what do you think Michael Porter Jr.'s like ceiling is? Like, what do you think his potential is? Because
he'll be an all-star.
He'll be an all-star. Because I feel like he'll be good, and if like he would be a really valuable asset because he's like a big dude, and he would be able to guard like ADs. LeBron.
I think it depends on his ability to stay healthy too. Because
when
you look at all the back issues he's had over the course of like his young career, I think that is not very promising, but his game is good for sure. I think he could be sort of like maybe almost like Carmelo Anthony-esque, how he can, like how tall he is, combine that with a quick release, smooth shot, and some good like skills in the mid range. I think he could be a pretty good scorer.
A little more of a runner than Carmelo Anthony and less of a bumper, but definitely similar with that pull-up game.
That's a good point too. But yeah, I think that Michael Porter Jr., he has a high ceiling. It's just a matter of staying healthy for him. So yeah. I guess one thing I did want to bring up with the Nuggets defense before we move on to the Nuggets offense is that I actually think Gary Harris could spend some time with the bench units for this series. And sort of what I mean by that is with the Lakers offense, you really only have, or with the Lakers starters offense, it's very much like a one-headed snake. Like with the Clippers offense, you've got Lou Williams, you've got Kawhi Leonard, you've got Paul George, and you've got offensive initiators who come in sort of all shapes and sizes. Whereas with the Lakers, especially towards the end of games, it's going to be LeBron. And so I think Gary Harris is sort of overqualified to kind of hide out on like a KCP or a Danny Green. So I think you might see Mike Malone save Gary Harris for the bench units where he can guard like a Rajon Rondo or Alex Caruso and actually be more involved in the focal points of the Lakers offense. I think Mike Malone might seem more valuable as sort of not a guy he brings off the bench, but a guy who plays a lot alongside like the Monte Morrises and Michael Porter Jr.'s.
I agree.
Yeah, sorry, I'm muting myself because I don't know if you guys can the rain is just coming down.
Yeah, I have it. Same, yeah.
I can't hear it at all.
I can't hear yours, Channon, so that means you probably
can't. Okay, yeah, we're probably good.
I think we're solid.
Yeah.
We're safe.
I think one thing that makes, like you were talking about earlier with Denver being kind of a better one-on-one defensive team, one thing that makes the Lakers so scary is they have compiled this team of all these guys who are experienced offensively, and you don't necessarily see that every game because of LeBron and Anthony Davis. So there's these guys that have put up numbers like Danny Green, Caldwell Pope. These guys have had bad games, but also I remember in the Portland series, like randomly one of them would just be on, and it was like, oh, okay, I forgot Danny Green's a knockdown shooter. And so if you move the ball around, Denver they're going to struggle because there's these guys who can kind of come out of the shadows and be on for a night, and it's like, okay, and like Kyle Kuzma, super inconsistent. Sometimes he's tough to stop. So I think that makes it really hard to guard if they're not playing one-on-one.
And I think that's a great point too, because I think for any team to experience any amount of success against LeBron James and Anthony Davis two-man game, like you're going to have to send help at certain points. So you're going to have guys like Gary Harris or Michael Porter Jr. especially kind of clogging up the paint and just making things hard. So if KCP and Danny Green can punish them for sending that help, and if both of them are hitting their shots this series, this one might be over rather quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope not. I think that the Nuggets are going to put up a pretty good fight despite the odds. Who knows?
Yes. So I guess we might as well. Do you have anything, Channon, left to say about the Lakers offense and the Nuggets defense?
No.
Yeah, so I guess we might as well move on to the Lakers, or the Nuggets offense, sorry. Yeah. And I actually think this is going to be pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Just because I think Anthony Davis is probably the best center that Nikola Jokic is going to have to go up against in the Western Conference playoffs. Like, obviously, against Zubats, Gobert, Harrell, all guys who are kind of more comfortable playing in a drop coverage, although Gobert, I thought, did a pretty good job. But Jokic is just able to punish those guys because I think, first of all, obviously, Nikola Jokic has been taking more threes than he has at any point in his career, and he's been hitting them at a 40% clip, so that is definitely a problem. But then also, when you've got Jokic in space, it gives them the ability to see the floor, whereas if you have a guy like Anthony Davis who will chase him up to the three-point line and just make the passing angles a little bit tighter, a little bit harder to see, I think that could sort of bog down the Nugget offense. I think Anthony Davis is quick enough to defend Jokic on the perimeter.
Yeah.
and tall enough to like bother him in the post. So I think that's a combination that that will be tough for Jokic to deal with. I think Mike Malone has just got to take advantage of this. I would be very disappointed if there are any minutes with Anthony Davis on the bench that Nikola Jokic is not in the game, just because I think you've got to sort of make hay in the minutes where the Lakers like best 80 or best Jokic answer isn't in the game.
Yeah.
Although I do think Howard could steal some minutes on Jokic. I think Howard's sort of sneaky quick in like a similar way that Gobert is, that he doesn't really have the quick feet to sort of slide in front of a guy on the perimeter, but he's kind of quick in an up and down sense that he can recover back to the basket very fast. And I think
super athletic guy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's super important when you're guarding Jokic. So I guess moving on to that other, the other engine in the Nuggets offense, Jamal Murray.
Really quick. I think that's a really great point about Anthony Davis, because I think a majority of the Nuggets offense comes from Jamal Murray slipping that pick and roll pass to Jokic, and he likes it right in the middle of the floor, or like at the top of the key sort of, and he has that floater he'll throw up, that weird hook shot, and his vision is so good that he makes those passes. So if you have a guy who steps right up on that, I think that, I mean, he's a really smart player too, but I think that would cause him to struggle a lot.
I 100% agree.
What about like, I don't know too much, but like it seems like when Jokic, when he like kind of not like drives or gets close to the basket, I feel like so much attention's drawn to him, and he just like will hit like a cutter like Gary Harris or something. And then like I feel like that could play a big role, especially like if the Lakers don't play like if they're like lazy on defense.
He's definitely
exactly
because
Jokic takes advantage of every little thing, and he just like in all these different angles. Like
it's just with a defender like Anthony Davis, it's going to be harder for him to get in the situation, because Anthony Davis, he's also going to make it hard for him to get the ball in the post or whatever.
I'm excited to watch that matchup. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
because I feel like Jokic will obviously get his too on Anthony Davis.
And something that happened, especially in Game 7 of the Clippers series, as it wore on, and it just became obvious that Zubac and in particular Harrell just had no answer for Jokic scoring the ball himself. The Clippers actually did the worst thing possible and started blitzing just the hell out of Jokic and sending doubles whenever he caught the ball.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And that just, if anything, makes it worse, because
that opens everything up for like cutters.
Exactly.
And that's what he wants. That's what he wants.
Yeah, and so I think with Anthony Davis, there will be no reason for the Lakers to ever have to double Nikola Jokic. And so I think that's some very low-hanging fruit that the Lakers will be able to pick, is just not sending double teams, and that'll cut out just the easy buckets. And then I think Danny Green on Jamal Murray should be a fairly good 1v1 matchup. And then obviously AD will be able to hedge the pick and roll, and that'll prevent easy switches. I don't think the Lakers will switch with the thing that frustrated me at times with the Clippers defense, especially when it was Paul George who was guarding Jamal Murray, which was the majority of the first 5 games, maybe 5.5 games, was just how little resistance he gave on when it came to switching. Like, you would see Zubac guarding Jamal Murray at the end of possessions, and you would see Jamal Murray getting up easy step back threes and just basically taking what he wanted from the Clipper defense. And I think that'll be a lot harder, mostly because AD will be coming up on those pick and rolls and sort of stalling it and almost stopping it in his tracks, and giving guys like Danny Green and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Alex Caruso time to recover and sort of get in front of Jamal Murray. And obviously that could maybe no, because like I was going to say, you might see Jokic start slipping some pick and rolls and trying to get to the basket quicker, but you've got guys like LeBron James coming and sending help. And I think that the Lakers will easily give up threes to guys like Jeremy Grant. So I really don't think the Nuggets will be able to score too easily on this Laker group. And this is something that I think probably is a little bit of this might be make some Nuggets fans mad, but I think it's been a lot of smoke and mirrors that we've seen from this Denver team in the playoffs so far. Like over the course of their first 2 series, they've actually been outscored by 21 points. They don't have a positive point differential in this year's playoffs. Out of the teams who have been eliminated, the Bucks, Raptors, Clippers, Mavericks, and
Blazers.
No, I think it just might be those 5 teams. Those 5 teams all have better net ratings than the Nuggets do this playoffs. During the regular season, Jamal Murray shot 34% from 3, and Jokic shot 31%. That's turned into 44% and 40% over the course of the playoffs. You've got to give the Nuggets their credit, obviously, but there's a lot of luck and a lot of smoke and mirrors involved. And I think that they're
Jamal Murray's he's kind of done it like consistently. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it might be obviously like a short
it's kind of small sample size.
It's a small sample size, but like he has done it throughout the playoffs, which is a good sign, and that's got to be like I don't know.
And I think this is one of the Lakers' biggest strength is how physical they are. Like it destroyed the Blazers, like offensively. Like I mean, we had several injuries even, but not just that. And the Rockets, like the Rockets are undersized. Lakers definitely took advantage of that. They're so physical. They have so many guys who bump and bruise, and Jamal Murray really hasn't played that yet.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think it'll be a good test for him, but I'm not really that confident that he's going to produce at the same level.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess, is there anything you'd like to add, or should we get on to some predictions right here?
Yeah, predict the West.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to take the Lakers in 5 in this series. Like I said, all credit to the Nuggets. They've been a terrific 3 seed. Obviously, pulled off probably one of the biggest comebacks in NBA history, but I think it's been a lot of luck, a lot of smoke and mirrors. I think the Lakers have a lot of specific problems for Denver, and so I think the Lakers make quick work.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Lakers.
Do you think the Lakers
in 4
a feeler game the first game and then just freaking go 4 straight like they have every other series?
I think that's a pretty realistic option. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, if Denver wins any, I think it'll be the first game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers just take care of business. I think they have the right matchups to stop Denver.
Denver could be tired too.
Exactly. They just played 2 7-game series. You have to be tired. And they came back 3-1 both times.
Yeah. Has that ever happened before?
No.
Wow. That's so impressive.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. But what did you say? You think that's going to be 5 games too, Channon?
No, I said 4. But
4?
If Denver wins any, it'll be the first, I think.
Got it. Dang.
And I will say I think this is closer to being a 4-game series than it is to being a 6-game series. I think this is a comfortable 5 games for the Lakers.
I think that the Nuggets win 2 games.
2 games? Okay.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. But I don't think there'll be any doubt in anybody's minds that the Lakers are going to lose the series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of how the Warriors are when they were on their dynasty. Or they still are kind of. But yeah. Okay, and then you're going to go into the Eastern?
Well, I'm going to stand by this Heat in 6.
Oh, wait, we already predicted that.
Yeah, we said 6, Jonah?
Maybe 5 at this point, though.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah, and mine's a bust, but whatever.
Yeah, if it was going to go to 6, I'd say the Celtics might have to take the next 2, and I don't really see that happening.
That's got to be so demoralizing.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen that before. Like when a team's up by double digits and they just blow it. It sucks. It's tough. What does that remind you of, Jonah?
The Clipper series.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah. Anything else NBA you want to talk about?
I think that's it for now, unless Channon, did you have anything?
I think that wraps it up.
All right, sick. All right. I have to talk about the UFC on Saturday. Jonah, have you made any predictions, and are you going to watch?
Yep. Well, I think I'll leave most of the hard-hitting analysis of the UFC to Kellan just so I don't embarrass myself. But
Yeah, he called it the UCF last time.
Yeah, the University of Central Florida Fighting Division. But I'll chime in with some predictions when it feels appropriate.
Okay. Well, I'll go through for the prelims. I'm just gonna say a few names that are gonna stand out. So Tyson Nam is he's a savage. He's had a little bit of trouble, kind of getting a fight because COVID and everything. People drop out. It's been a really odd time. But Tyson Nam's a guy to look out for. I think he's opening up the card on the prelims. And then Andre Ewell's a stud, and I'm interested to see. I haven't heard a ton of the guys on the Jordan Espinoza versus David Dvorak is going to be a good one. That's the prelim. That's the prelim headliner. And Jordan Espinoza, slick boxing, super fast. He's coming off a dub, and then David Dvorak hasn't lost in a long time. And he's riding like I don't know how many. He's won at least his last 6 fights, but that's going to be an awesome fight. But as for the main card, it should be a pay-per-view, but yeah, to start off, we've got Kevin Holland versus Darren Stewart. So Kevin Holland's the dude I was talking about who's super long. He's like a sniper, and he knocked out, I think it was Joaquin Buckley last week. Joaquin Buckley is a beast. And then Darren Stewart caught Maki Pitolo, who's an absolute beast, in a guillotine his last time out, and that was August 8th. So he's having a pretty quick turnaround. Kevin Holland, I'm probably going to have to go with Kevin Holland on this just because I haven't really seen anybody give him too much of a challenge yet. And he's so long and utilizes his reach super well because I'm pretty sure he's 6'3", and that's pretty decent for the middleweight division. And he's got an 81-inch reach. That's pretty savage. So I think he's probably going to probably hold Darren Stewart at bay and probably get a knockout early in the second round. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, he has a pretty significant height and reach. What do you think, Jonah? Yeah, because Darren Stewart only has a 74-inch reach, and that's pretty significant. If you can utilize your advantage, reach advantages as well as Kevin Holland does, I don't see Darren Stewart taking this dub. They're they're two completely different fighters. Jonah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Do you think we might see?
Are you taking him just because he's the favorite, Jonah, or do you genuinely think?
Well, it's hard for me to resist a good favorite, but do you think we could see this fight ending early, if anything?
Oh yeah, I think Kevin Holland's going to clip him early, like I said.
Yeah, I agree.
110%. All right, moving on. So we got Mackenzie Dern. She's coming off a dub against Hannah Cyphers, I think earlier this year, and then Randa Marcos. I'm pretty sure Mackenzie Dern's going to get a submission early. I don't know. Randa Marcos, she's got some nice hair, but Mackenzie Dern's just super strong, super durable and strong for her weight class. And Randa Marcos is coming off a loss against Amanda Hebos, who that's nothing to hang your head about or hang your head over. But Mackenzie Dern, she really fills out the 115-pound weight division, or the women's strawweight division. She's a beast, and so I think she's probably going to take that dub for sure. I think that Mackenzie Dern's definitely a rising star, and Rana Marcos is a little bit older and probably on her way up. And so that's just the start. That's the first 2 fights, and then we have probably in my opinion, it's going to be fight of the night. So Johnny Walker versus Ryan Superman Spann. Johnny Walker, probably one of the most crazy, athletic 205ers, light heavyweights in the division. He's coming off 2 losses, though, and I think he's kind of feels like he's kind of backed up into a corner. And if he's going to keep his if he's going to maintain the status of kind of a rising contender, he's definitely got to get this dub. And Ryan Spann, he's riding he hasn't lost in a fat minute. So, but he hasn't really fought any good guys. And Johnny Walker's fought Corey Anderson, who's a beast, but he recently left. And then he lost to Nikita Krylov because he got exposed on the ground. Johnny Walker is kind of known as a striker, and he got absolutely exposed and pretty much held down for like 3 rounds. And so we'll see if he's made any improvement there. But I'm excited. I think this could be a firefight, and expect Johnny Walker to have some spinning techniques and just throw heavy shots. But it'll be interesting to see if Ryan Spann will like try to just neutralize him on the ground. Hopefully he doesn't, because it kind of won't be fair and it'll be boring. Just saying. And then moving on to the rising star Khamzat Chimaev. You guys have to look him up. Channon, look up Khamzat Chimaev right now. Probably one of the most scary men in the UFC. Has so much confidence in his abilities.
What's his name?
Okay, so Khamzat. And then Chimaev. You'll have to watch him talk, bro. He is absolutely...
Oh, goodness.
Yes. His beard is unrivaled in the UFC. He has the most hair I've ever seen in one portion of his body. He has
so you're telling me he's the James Harden of UFC?
Yeah, he's something, dude. And he's so good that they've basically, so UFC's coming back to Fight Island and they rescheduled him for another fight. He's going to be fighting Damian Maia. So they're basically expecting him to run through poor Gerald Meerschaert. And they had a little bit of back and forth today at the press conference. And Khamzat's like a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and Gerald Meerschaert's like a black belt. And basically Khamzat was just saying, I'm going to choke you out and I'm going to make you give me your black belt after the fight. And so it's pretty savage on Khamzat's part, but I have seen nothing but good things from him. He has beat his opponent, his last 2 opponents. He's absorbed 2 strikes, and he's hit the other 2 guys like with over 300 strikes. So he's basically demolishing world-class fighters. Like, they're not just scrubs. But Gerald Meerschaert is a seasoned vet, and he's going to go in there with like no fear, just like, I'm just going to try to derail this hype train. And so honestly, Khamzat's got all the weight on his shoulders, but Gerald Meerschaert, I think he's going to have a long day. And then Donald Cerrone versus Nico Price, pretty savage co-main event, because Nico Price just got done with a firefight against Vicente Luque, lost to Vicente Luque because he got clipped. But Nico Price has improved a lot in his his last few fights, and even since he's fought Vicente Luque the first time. Poor Donald Cerrone has lost his last 4 fights, but he's lost to the former lightweight interim champion Tony Ferguson, the current interim lightweight champion Justin Gaethje, and then he got absolutely obliterated by Conor McGregor in 47 seconds in January. And then he also lost to, I'm spacing on it, I forget who he lost to, but he's taken some pretty significant damage. He's lost like 3 of the 4 ones he's lost by like TK or knockout. So I don't know how old Donald's doing, but I feel like, he lost to Anthony Pettis his last time out just recently, and it was a pretty close fight, and I thought he personally won, but they didn't give him the dub. So hopefully Donald Cerrone squeaks this one out, but Nico Price looks like a pretty savage welterweight contender. And Donald Cerrone really even isn't a welterweight. He hasn't. I think, this is a welterweight bout. Pretty sure. Yeah. I think Donald could get absolutely wrecked. I hope not. He's got a new child. He's literally admitted it, that he's just fighting to get money, because he has like a ranch where he invites all these fighters to come train and stuff. And he's like, I basically invested all my cash into this, so I just am here to fight again to get more cash to put into the ranch. So I don't know if that's a good thing, but yeah.
Probably means he'll be more motivated, so I would definitely say that's good.
And then as for the main event, I could not be more excited for Tyron Woodley versus Colby Covington, because Colby Covington, easily the most divisive figure in all of sports right now. You know what Colby Covington is, Channon?
I do not.
Well, you should look him up on Instagram.
Let me see.
To say the least, he is controversial. And then Tyron Woodley today came out, and they had a press conference today, and he just answered with the form of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Like Black Lives Matter. So like if someone answered a question, he's like, yeah, I'm really excited for the fight, but I'm more excited for people to realize that Black Lives Matter. And so he's kind of said it. It was kind of, it's good that he was doing this, but
Yikes.
I don't know. It's kind of frustrating for the media, especially when they haven't got to talk to him a lot. You know what I mean? But then, yeah, Colby Covington is probably going to just have a 5-round slugfest with poor Tyron Woodley, because Tyron Woodley's like 38 years old. And so, yeah. All right, so I'll go through kind of again and just pick my winner. So going Kevin Holland, Mackenzie Dern, Johnny Walker, Hamzat Chimaev, Nico Price, and Colby Covington. I'm separate for once in my life. I'm finally separating like who I want to win versus who I know is going to win. But I love Colby Covington, even though he's like, he loves Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. Like he puts on a show, dude. And he talks big game. And I can't even imagine the pressure on his shoulders that he has before he goes out. But like at the same time, he must be like one of the most confident dudes in the world to like talk like that and then actually go out and perform and destroy world-class fighters. So yeah. Do you think Colby's going to win, Jonah?
Yeah, I think this one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, is a big favorite, but I feel like there's a reason I feel like isn't Woodley just kind of washed up Covington?
Kind of, but the storyline is that like Tyron Woodley's never been more like motivated for a fight, especially now, because Colby Covington's literally like, it's me, like Republican versus him, Democrat. Like he's made it. He went there. He went there for this fight. So
When is this fight?
It is Saturday.
I might have to check in on that.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Dude, you'll have to, Hamzat Chimaev, like if you ever watch UFC fights, like this would be the one to watch, especially that it's not a pay-per-view, because they're making it big because they're going to be going to like Abu Dhabi for Fight Island, because like they use all their American talent for the most part, and then because there's like travel restrictions in places, so they make it easier for the international fighters, so they fight somewhere else overseas. Gotcha. But yeah, I'm super excited. Hopefully none of these fall out, because they have like extensive COVID testing, and if they catch you at all, you're done.
Yeah.
And also it's like some of these guys are taking short notice fights, so weight cutting has been kind of a problem. There was one fight that dropped out last week because a guy like fainted because he's trying to cut too much weight in a short period of time.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, and like the UFC doesn't like catch weights, which are like, because like the weight classes go 25, 35, 45, 55, 70, 85, and 205, and then 260. And they don't like it when you like make an agreement to fight at like 160 or something, because they don't really mean anything, because you're not getting the fighter. You're not getting like a true, because like cutting an extra 5 pounds is like a significant difference, and it makes a big difference in a fight. So yeah, cannot wait for this. If Colby Covington loses, that's not going to be good, because
he's going to look like a clown.
He's going to look like a massive clown. But I would be fine looking like a massive clown when the UFC is cutting me a 7-figure payday. So, and when Bang's making me shoot a commercial or then post it on my Instagram, I wonder how much money they're throwing at him for energy drinks, which is wild. But he's one of the most cringy guys ever. But he is the Oregon boy. He wrestled at Oregon State, Channon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I think that kind of wraps it up. I'm super excited, and I got to get those. Hopefully I go undefeated this time, because the last time I predicted fights and posted on the Insta, it didn't go my way at all. But yeah, I'm not going to.
It's okay. Same for us with Denver and Clippers. So
I guess that's true. All right, guys. So I'll piece this together the best I can. But
all right.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you guys for doing this. This is fun.
Peace out, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.